Alright, guys, welcome to another video from Chibi No Podcast. You got me, David the Smash Fan,
Miles, your tech guy.
Mister.
and we just got out of Weathering with You, the latest movie from Makoto Shinkai, who did the movie Your Name, which was a huge hit 3 years ago, and now he's back at it again with Weathering with You, which came out last year in Japan, and we finally got to see it here in the States, English dub. So, if you haven't seen this, here's a brief premise for you. So we're gonna give a brief summary, give our score, and then we'll talk about spoilers later on.
Would you want me to do the brief summary or you?
You can do the summary, actually, Mister. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll take it straight from Wikipedia. High school freshman Hodoka Morishima runs away from his home and moves to Tokyo. On the trip, he almost gets thrown off a ferry when a freak rainstorm hits it. However, he is saved by a man named Keisuke Suga, who gives Hodoka his business card in case he ever needed help. Hodoka contacts Suga and is hired as an assistant to his small publishing company. At work, Hodoka meets Natsumi, Suga's niece. They investigate urban legends relating to the unusual weather in Tokyo. From a psychic, they hear the legend of a weather maiden who can control the weather. That weather maiden is
Hina.
There we go.
So okay, so that
they're about the niece.
it's not pertinent to the story really,
Yeah,
but
no, it's just
it makes it for fun. Yeah, but so that's the basic story of this, and I guess to start off with is it's okay. It's not better than Your Name. I'll tell you that much right off the bat before I say anything else.
It's in the same universe.
It's in the same universe.
Yes.
It's in the same universe, which we'll go over how that comes in. Yeah, but again, I don't want to start off in the battle, but I just want to say that it's not as good as Your Name. It is, however, still breathtaking the way that they did the animation. The animation is top notch. We saw the interview that Makoto Shinkai did about the movie and how hard it was with
Stay for the end of
doing
credits,
the rain.
by the way, if you want to know this stuff.
He talked about how drawing the rain is a pain and it's hard to do, and that he used weather in a different way. He used it more aggressively in this movie, and you really see it. He used it as
beautiful.
and it worked really well. He took all these different turns that you weren't expecting from this movie. It kind of alludes to it in the trailers when you hear a gunshot and you see it, but it doesn't really tell you how that is involved in the story. I personally liked how they involved that feature and the gun in the story, because again, you might think it's just it's a random thing, we're trying to throw you off, but there is some significance to it. Soundtrack is still great. The one thing I like that he really does, and he did this in Your Name, is in Your Name he did like an anime opening, and then he did like a mid credit song type of thing, and he kind of did the same thing here. Not in the same way as he did in Your Name.
Late, so I don't know.
There's a few times that had some good. Was it the same track? I think it was like two different tracks that was kind of written for this, right? And it was the same singer from Your Name.
No, Your Name had different. I kind of feel like you can tell that they're from the same writer, because Radwimps is the band that did the soundtrack for both movies.
Yes.
And so you can hear a pattern of what he likes to do, especially with the piano. So I really like that he had like an overture that he used all throughout the movie, and then he did the lyric version with all that near the end at like the climactic part. But it was done really well.
Yes.
Was this the same studio, or didn't he say he separated from Ghibli on this one, or what was
He did.
was the animation
I don't think
different for that?
With Ghibli.
He said in the interview that Studio Ghibli had just disbanded. And that's when they wanted to work with him for Your Name. And then after Your Name came out, there were all these other people that wanted to work with him because of what he did with the staff from Studio Ghibli. So that's not, but yeah, I really liked it. Again, I think, I honestly think it was better paced than Your Name. I think Your Name had a lot more slower parts. But I think their big climax that Your Name has was better than Weathering with You. And so overall, I still enjoyed it, but to end my part is I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'll go next.
Sure.
I'll keep it shorter than David's, but I appreciated the animation a lot more than Your Name. In my opinion, it was a bit better, but it's kind of, you're getting nitpicky here when it comes to that, because Your Name is still animated beautifully, and then Weathering with You is different because they incorporated rain and raindrops and the shimmering and the brightness of the sun so much more in this film. That was the main focus, was that. And so to me, I know the animation was different for that, but I felt like it was higher class, so I gave it a lot more props on that. And then the score, in my opinion, I liked a lot more than Your Name's, even though a lot of it was from Rad Wimps. And then I don't know who the female singer was, but she did great too. It was amazing. The story to me was okay, but I did understand how it went through. It was good overall. For me, I gave it a 7.5.
Right, Miles?
So yeah, the story. So of course it's fine. I've noticed we have a bit different opinions on these. Just for everybody's listening, Your Name I'd probably give a 10 out of 10. It's probably the perfect anime film I've ever seen. I don't think I can even name a flaw on that. The animation was up there with Your Name. I think I like Your Name's artistic design better. I can't say which one's better because they felt. It feels like the same universe. It feels like the same kind of artistic design, obviously. But that one shot, and I remember you guys talked about it too with me with Your Name, where they kind of go over the valley and like how many images they drew to do that. There's not a scene exactly like that in this. I guess the weather thing would probably be the more drastic thing for this. It was probably more work, which was cool. And they did water like the best I've ever seen in an anime. But I don't know. Artistically, I guess I like the Your Name better, which is fine. The story, I don't know. I didn't feel it was slower, or that Your Name was slower paced, in my opinion. Maybe it's just because how the story's written. In Your Name, where you're constantly seeing the guy and girl switch places throughout the film, and that's how you're kind of getting to know them and seeing the interconnection. That is a really cool concept. This one was more of like a realistic take, which was cool. Don't get me wrong, to like see. Not so much the supernatural connection between these two characters, where they actually just kind of meet naturally and then like live their lives naturally and have that connection. That was cool. The only thing I found is I was really kind of bored in a way with the characters, because I didn't feel emotionally connected with these characters even at the end. Your Name, I actually cried. This one, I didn't. I got some goosebumps a little bit on a couple of the songs because the music is so good in this. Still don't think it's better than Your Name, because I actually. I've listened to the soundtrack multiple times of Your Name, where that song's stuck in my head. I keep thinking about it. This one, I don't even remember the songs. I remember they're good and they're emotional, but they didn't have like a connection with me as much, personally, on my taste. But they're still good. It's just, I don't know. Something about the story in this one just didn't hit me in the feels that I guess I was wanting to. And the whole weathering idea of like how they make this girl with the weather control just wasn't. I don't know. It didn't connect with me, but anyway, it was really good. I wouldn't see it again. I think Your Name I've seen probably 5 times. This one I'm good. So I'll probably go a little higher now. I've had more time to think about it than I told you guys. So probably give it a 6 out of 10. But it was still really good. But it just wasn't masterful to me. It was artistically a 10 out of 10 though. Okay. Story wise, I guess 6. I'm sorry.
All right, so we got 6, 7.5, and 8.
Cool.
So yeah, around 7 point something. Yeah. So
7
let's actually go into some details about the movie. So this is where we're gonna go into actual spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, stop now. So I'll give you 3 counts. 3, 2, 1.
Get
all right, let's go.
Out of here.
All right. So actually, Miles, I would disagree with you. I think one of the things that I liked about you know how they had like the whole scan of the like the whole town and stuff in Your Name.
Yeah.
They didn't do exactly that, but what I really liked is when they did the fireworks, is like, we see fireworks from the ground up. We always see them float up there, but like when you're actually like, it kind of reminds me of like drones that go near fireworks. They shouldn't, because you can get shot down. But like the shot of seeing them like explode like right next to you. It was very beautiful. I was just like, wow,
you could
that's
tell that
like
they mixed
cool.
in CGI with the animation though on top of it, because there are some times with the buildings where they kind of look like these are CGI buildings, but they did it well. Like they hit it well enough because they kept it dark and everything with the fireworks popping. So it did really well, and the beauty of the fireworks was just amazing. I give so much props to them on doing that.
Speaking of the fireworks, remind me of the anime that we saw that did fireworks really cool like that. Do you remember that one? It was kind of
called Fireworks.
Was that what it was called?
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Anyway, I
sucks.
thought they
It
did
sucked.
that movie was horrible, but I feel that the fireworks kind of reminded me of that when I was watching it. It reminded me of that movie.
I will say this: one of the, like I said, I wanted to talk about two things really quickly. So the first thing is about the gun. So the fact that they use the gun and that Hodoka uses the gun twice, for two different reasons, but they're both because of Hina, which I really liked, because he uses the gun the first time when she's gonna do, I don't know if it's like something sexual or whatever, but he uses the gun because he's serious about protecting her, and he will shoot to get her away. And so he shoots it, and first of all, he thought it was a fake gun, but he actually shoots it and almost hits the guy. And the second one I liked more because it built the tension up where he has the cops around him, and he pulls out the gun, and you're like, what the freak? And I was like,
stupid, but yeah.
Why? He
I
pulls
agree.
out a gun. He wants to do it.
It didn't emotionally impact me. I just thought it was just like I was rolling my eyes during that scene. I'm like, this is so retarded. And then the guy, like the guy that took him in, the parent figure, like pushes a cop off, and then when he's running, the one guy comes and points the gun at the kid, and then the little girl comes out of nowhere and pushes him off.
as the
I'm just
boy,
like, this is
little
so
boy.
dumb. I don't know. It just didn't connect with me.
I liked it.
It's-
I thought it was cool as action. It was more actiony in that sense,
Sure.
so I enjoyed it. So I thought it was funny.
I liked it because they try to make it more, what's the word?
Not realistic.
Not real, but more like desperation type thing is what he was trying to go
Yes.
for.
Agreed.
That he's wanting to do anything he can to get it, and that's why they involve the gun. But it's not a little girl mouse. It's
Oh,
Hina's
it
brother.
was a
Remember
boy.
they switched.
Oh,
In-
that's why I was confused. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You're
The other part actually is that they actually got like big names in the English dub to play the character. So we had Lee Pace, who he played Suga, so Keisuke, and he is Ronin from Guardians of the Galaxy. So he's really huge. They also had Alison Brie, who is Annie from Community. She's been in a lot of other things, and so hearing her, she's Natsumi, and I was like, what? I think they actually did pretty good. And then the two actors, the voice actors that did Hodoka and Hina, I looked up the IMDb, but they haven't done really much anything. So they're really like no-name people that they gave them to, and I honestly thought they did really good.
I think their voice acting in that was really well. I'll give them major props for that. So I hope this helps them their career path if they want to keep continuing voice acting. I hope it goes further. I really enjoyed it.
I also did like I love that they tied in Ataki and Mitsuha from Your Name into the movie.
best part
Yes,
of the movie.
those
I was
cameos were
literally
awesome.
my inner self was just so giddy. Oh my god. I remember nobody else caught it, and then David, me and you looked at each other and we're like, "Hey!" And nobody else is like, "What?"
Well,
What's going
because
on?
even Makoto Shinkai was like, if you're an otaku, you'll notice this. I was like, see, you guys are
He
otaku.
said
I'm not an
that in the
otaku,
interview,
okay? I'm just
Well,
a fan
he
of your
called
name.
it. He's the director. He knows. He's just saying.
Whatever.
Know it.
You don't know
But
shit.
here's the thing, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but so they introduce it in the interview. He says that this part happens before they meet each other at the end of Your Name, but
Which I kind of figured, but
which I kind of figured, but also kind of doesn't make sense. I mean, in terms of like it's been raining tons, and we know
Wait.
that.
we had the 3-year gap though. Remember that after in the end, so they would have met probably sometime after before the time skip.
No, but remember the 3-year gap? That's when it started raining, and it didn't stop, and it flooded Tokyo. So the trains probably wouldn't have been working at that time. What I'm saying is that when we saw the end of Your Name, it was really sunny, and the trains were working. So it couldn't have taken place during
We don't
the
know. They'll
time that she
they'll
was.
let us know when the next movie. So that's not something we should worry
I
about.
don't
No,
think it's
but-
something
but-
we need to figure out too much.
I know it's not figuring it out, but I'm like a stickler with these things. So it's like, because
No.
remember, the trains weren't working when she sacrificed herself. They
Stop
weren't
it.
working because it was still flooding.
Don't
So
be that guy.
when
Dude,
could this
no.
happen? I
No.
want to know. I
No.
need
Don't be that
answers.
guy.
No.
Don't be that guy.
He
No.
just threw it in there, and it. Anyway, that's my
No.
thing. You guys go
Nerd.
talk about what you liked.
I'm just telling you. That's all.
I'm just telling you that I want to know.
So I guess I wanted a little bit more. Again, it was kind of hard for me to connect with these characters, just because you could say that it doesn't matter, but it mattered for me to get connected. It was you don't really get a really good idea of why these two kids left both their parents. You don't really get a very good answer. You don't get that emotional connection for them, and I don't know.
No, it's not
man,
both of them. Her mom died, so that's why she was doing her thing. He was just whatever, like he was suffocating.
But like, what about her dad?
Maybe she didn't have a dad, or maybe
that's
his
what
dad
I'm saying.
died too. So
you're right. You're
yeah.
right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed it because I just didn't. I didn't feel these characters have so much like emotion and these personalities they're trying to emphasize, but I just didn't understand where it was coming from. I didn't have that build connection I needed for some kids that are like 15 and 16 years old. I don't know. Just something with the writing didn't make me care. I cared more about the music and the art and the design. The story just was really flat for me, but everything else just gorgeous.
I understand with Miles because like we don't want to compare it to Your Name, but I do it. I do it in this context because in Your Name they spend the time to get us to know about Mitsuha and about her parents, because it really Taki's parents and his situation isn't relevant. It's more of he's understanding what she's been going through because she lost her mom at a young age, and that made her father distance herself from the entire family, which is why she's growing up. She's been taken care of by the grandmother, and they do it in small little snippets here and there to give you the full picture, so you understand why Mitsuha is the way that she is. Whereas here, we don't understand why Hodoka is rebelling, why he ran away. We just know that he ran away because he said he was suffocating, but again, we don't understand why. The only thing I could think of is he says that, but he says that he remember he had that dream that he was chasing the sun, and he wanted to chase that. That's why he got on the boat.
Yeah.
But again, to Miles' credit, we still don't know why he left and why he was so willing to go back.
We stated that. That's why I stated earlier that the story was not as great as Your Name, because there was a lot of holes in this story compared to Your Name. Your Name had like small little holes that could be overlooked easily, whereas this one's like, okay, but why? Is this just a kid being a kid and he has teenage angst and he wants to leave? Okay, kind of dumb, but okay. So there's just a lot of issues in that.
David,
that I give it a lower score for.
You're gonna love me for this because you know I'm such a Star Wars nerd. It's like the excuse for like Palpatine being alive, just to throw that in there. And your backstory is just, I died, but I'm back, and hi, I'm the one that's the voice in your head the whole time. It was that type of writing I felt for these characters. It was just kind of just a one little sentence, and you're like, okay, I'll just roll with that. Where, like, in Your Name, it was, like you said, it was kind of paced.
I don't think it's something like that. I think it's more just bad, not good writing for a movie. I think this would have been better as a show. I think it's just bad writing for a movie's sake.
Well, no, it's okay. I just wanted to get emotionally invested and attached with the characters, and I just had a really hard time doing that. That's why my score's so low. It doesn't mean I don't like the movie, but the movie at the end of the day, no matter how artistically beautiful or how rich the sound and vibrant is, at the end of the day, I want a good story, and the story just didn't do it for me. But the movie was beautiful. Don't get me wrong; it was a masterpiece. It's an artistic masterpiece. But I don't know. I just didn't care about any of the characters.
I get you. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Just to end this off, to be a success in business, movies, or whatever that stuff, whatever all of that is, you need 2 out of 3 things. So they succeeded in that. They get the animation, the soundtrack, and the thing that was lacking was the script. So they were a success no matter what. But that's just how it is in business. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was good. We all liked it, right?
Yeah, but I think what happened is they actually had a good idea. I think if we had a little bit, like I said, a little more connection to it, it would have been a whole lot better. Even like 20-30 seconds to explain something, I think would have been enough. Personally, that's what I think would have been enough, because we'd be like, okay, maybe he's suffocating because his parents think they want him perfect, or something maybe something that's that can be explained or visually represented by the rain and why he wanted the rain to stop, like something like that would make it, we connect them.
Well, we've seen plenty of animes do this, right? Where they'll have like a little couple of clips as they're like walking down a street, or they drop a knife and you see like a 2-second flashback of like maybe the kid being yelled at by his parent, or he's walking in the rain, he remembers his mom leaving him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those tiny little things, you add up like 30 seconds of animation through like little segments here and there, can add so much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
let's just all agree the best part of this movie was we found out that Taki visits his grandma and that Mitsuha sells jewelry. So we get a more fleshed out story now for Your Name. That's the best part of the
Also,
movie.
one last thing. You could tell that they got a lot more money for this film because Makoto Shinkai sold the fuck out with all those endorsements, like, McDonald's and all the hotels.
Oh my god,
Oh, yeah.
right? I
And the
forgot to mention
Fujifilm
that.
and
There
all
is
that
so
shit
much
was there.
advertising.
I was like, dude, they were like, hey, we saw Your Name's success, so let's put all this on here, and then you keep this money. Okay, but you have to animate this and show that you have the character's eating a Big Mac and that this girl works at McDonald's and all this other shit.
By the
Like,
way, Diego, you notice it wasn't a
agree.
W, it was the actual M. It was
Yeah.
really McDonald's.
so
wasn't
it was cool
Whack-Donald's.
because you could tell that he
Yeah.
made a lot of money from it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's success it shows, though.
Can I just ask you what you guys thought about the ending real quick? Because I thought Your Name was just a beautiful ending. How did you guys feel impacted on the ending on this one?
Wanted to kiss.
I didn't care for the kiss.
Well, see, here's the thing. But
I
yeah,
didn't care
exactly.
for a kiss. I didn't care
I-
for a kiss.
I cared for it. I cared for it because in Your Name, it felt better that they kept it like that because
You kind
they
of
never they only ever met once. Where in this one, they've been together since almost the beginning of the film. He was gonna confess his love. Now he's there, and I can't remember the last words. Like, we're
One word-
together again,
one
or
word for
something like
you.
that.
Japan.
And then bloop.
Japan. They don't do that stuff.
I know, but
Japan.
it's kind of getting annoying. It's just I didn't feel as
Why you
emotionally
blame
impacted
Japan?
on the ending. I
Blame
know, I
Japan.
know. But with Your Name, I cried during that ending because when they said, "Can I know your name?" Like, you knew that they're gonna remember, and then they're gonna start crying, and then they're gonna be together. Like, it was so heavily implied that you already had your answers. With this one, it was just like, it was just the build up. The whole movie was this. Just to kind of end it like that was just like, I don't know. It made me feel like I was trying to emotionally get invested just to get an FU at the end. Like, yes, a kiss
Well-
or him saying "I love you" would have been awesome.
But in Your Name, you did get a kiss. Remember before they split in the whatever that thing part? But they did get a kiss, so you did
They
get
didn't kiss. He
some.
was
No,
writing
they didn't
some-
kiss.
He was
I
writing
thought
the
he
mark
kissed
on
her.
her hand.
No, they didn't
I
kiss.
swear it did.
No.
Okay, well,
You're watching a different movie then.
Japan.
But
That's all I can
here's
say.
the-
That's it. Let's not linger on it with Your Name. We were talking
No,
about
just I know, but
weathering with
last,
you. No more.
but
No more.
but last thing, Makoto Shinkai likes to keep his.
He chili
He
dicks
says he
people.
likes to. He likes to keep his. He likes to keep his endings, in his own words, realistic.
Chili
That's why all of the endings prior to all of his movies prior to Your Name had worse endings. But Your Name had the best ending because at least there was some sort of resolution. In this one, there was a resolution, but you think he would have taken the next step to it, but he didn't. So,
chili dick.
meh.
Anyway, by no means do we hate this movie. If you're a fan of Your Name or anime or animation, totally
Go watch it.
See it. If you like this director and his
Hella
animation
check it out.
style, go watch it. Like, you're not gonna hate it. You're gonna still like it. You'll either love it or you'll be mixed, or who knows. But I still suggest it. No matter.
I don't think anyone will hate it.
No.
I don't think anyone will hate it.
No.
Because
If you hate it, then you just hate anime in general.
Yeah, don't watch
You're not.
it then
You're not a
if you
real
do that.
otaku like us.
Very good movie
But-
still, though.
But anyway, so that's it for our review. I went a little bit long, but honestly, you could talk about this movie a lot because there's a lot more different things that we can go over. But that's it for this one. Let us know what you think about the movie in the comment section below, and please subscribe to us for all our latest videos. So thank you so much for listening. This is David the Smash Fan,
Smash Attack guy.
Mister.
and this is Chibi no Podcast.